most people I've come across on social media have been pretty nice. Like it's more positive than negative.
It is surprisingly, yeah. Yes, like since I'm posting my videos, touchwood, I didn't get any negative,
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, people have been like very positive. Yeah, it's nice.
It's like what you project out into the world is like what you kind of end up getting. Like if
That
you're
that
gonna
is so true.
project, yeah.
Yeah,
I well,
yeah,
I'm so excited for you to be here because I've always wanted to speak to a life coach. And I feel like it's one of those things. It's like, what is like, how does one become a life coach?
yeah. So yeah, I'll talk about my personal experience, how I
Sure, sure.
found life coaching.
Yeah, yeah,
So like everyone will have their ups and downs in their life, right? So just like that, when I was going through my low period, and with this life coach thing, during my low period, I wasn't depressed. It wasn't like clinical depression. I wasn't depressed. I didn't had any like depressed symptoms or not, or anything like that. But I wasn't thriving. I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with my life. So I was like, what's wrong with me? I have like such a strong support system, like for my family, everything. Like whatever I want to do, like hands down, they'll support me. And I have even when I was thinking, like I have everything, but why am I not feeling content?
yeah.
So like when I was going through this, that's when I was like trying to heal myself, like trying to do research on like how can I fix this void? Like how can I make myself more happy? Because it's not clinical depression. It's not like it, I don't have to go to psychiatrist, or I don't have to go to therapist. I
Right.
could feel it. And in that process, I found this life coaching thing. you know
And
it's
can I ask
just,
you, what was that thing you felt like did you figure out what was that thing you were going through that made you not depressed or, you know, uh, not having to be on meds, but like what was this void that you were trying to fill? Did you ever get
yeah,
to it? You
yeah, I felt like whatever I was doing wasn't enough. I didn't had that satisfaction. I didn't had that
Yeah,
self contentment.
yeah,
Like I work full time. I work in IT. I'm like working in a really good company, in a real good position. I'm getting like a real good pay. I have
yeah,
kids. I have
yeah,
a husband. I support him with his career. Like he's pursuing his passion. We're like, we both are like really looking forward for like big things. We have all plans, and
yeah,
I live close to my family. Like even when I think about it, like I don't have anything that I'm like missing, like
yeah.
everything. But still I wasn't like it, like all these things seemed nothing. Like yeah, everyone has this, but yeah, there is nothing special. Like I wasn't feeling that contentment in me. And
Can I tell you what you were saying relates to me it's in so many ways. Like I feel like I have such a great home life. My family's nearby, my career is good, but there is this void that I also felt too. I wanted to do something outside of like my day to day. Like I
yeah.
wanted to do something creative, and I think this is that creative journey that I think I'm on, and it seems like you're on as well.
Yes, exactly. So everyone, like what I realized is like it's just like a small mindset shift. First, to find this purpose, like whatever you are trying to do, you have to be satisfied with what you're doing. Only then your mind will be able to like look for opportunities, right? Like if you're going through that cycle, like saying like, okay, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing this, like because that's what I was doing. Like I was like going through like, okay, everyone does this, like everyone does this like 9 to 5 job. What is special in this? Like everyone takes care of their kids, which is true, right? Everyone takes care, everyone does everything. That what is special? Like what am I doing something special? But even like everyday things, they have to make you feel content. You're taking
Yeah,
care of your kids, it's a big job, you're
yeah,
working. So I realized it wasn't just me who was going through this, there were so many
yeah.
people. And it's just like a small mindset, like you just have to talk through. And like And I also realized, like when someone tells you, like my husband, like pretty much every week he used to like give me therapy, like, no, you're doing great. Yeah. It looks like it's like every week ritual. Like, no,
Yeah.
Mahita, you're doing great. You're working in this big company. You're getting paid. You're supporting me. You're supporting kids. Like you have everything. And like whoever I spoke to, like my relatives, my family, everyone is like, why are you feeling down? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you have
Yeah.
everything. Like why are you? What are you looking for? And yes, that's my question. What am I looking for? Like what is that I want more? you
Hmm.
know in this process I found this life coaching thing, like just asking questions. That's what
Yeah.
life coaches do, like they just ask you questions which make you think you
Okay.
know
I was just going to ask you what is a life coach? Because my definition of a life coach is I think of someone like an Oprah, where she's,
Yeah.
talking to all these people and she's asking questions like you said, and then
Yeah.
she's handing out cars to everybody. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Yeah, what is a life coach?
So with life coach, it's completely different from therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist, because they
Hmm.
diagnose. Like they diagnose and they prescribe medicines and all that.
Yeah,
But like life
right.
coach, they are focused on like mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah, just mindset or like setting goals, like building more confidence. Like these are the things that, and life coach, as a life coach, we don't tell you what to think, we just ask you, like, what, like when did this feeling start? You have all this contentment, right? Like it's just like
yeah.
asking questions, like all these questions, like we have two different types of questions.
Hmm.
Some questions are like closed questions, close ended. So if I just ask you like, how are you, you will just answer like good. That's it. There is
Yeah.
no much thought goes into that answer, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. But like there are open ended questions. So like how did you feel today? So when I ask you a question like that, you will go through this your whole day.
Yeah.
So
Can,
that
can I
goes
tell
through
you
like,
can I tell you how my day went? When you asking
yes.
that question, how did your day
Yes.
go? So my day w was going great. I got up in the morning. I went to my kickboxing class on the weekend like I usually do. I came back, I made some breakfast, got the house cleaned up, um, and went out to run some errands. And then my wife and I got into a little bit of a spat because she was like, "Oh, like I was cutting up this picture that we had purchased a long time ago, and she um, basically, I'm gonna send my wife to you. I'm gonna send her your way, and she might need some life coaching.
We'll see. We'll see. Like that's what. Like we'll see if she wants it or you want it. What was that picture? Like what were you doing that? Like were you not hanging it up or like were you
So it was
postponing it?
we had purchased it over a year ago, and it was
Okay.
kind of just like in the house somewhere in the background and collecting dust. And I would
Mhm.
move it around here and there, like okay, it looks better here, okay, it looks better there. And over time, it kind of deteriorated because it's a pencil drawing.
Uh-huh.
And it's not in a frame. So I cut the top off because the edges just got destroyed over time. And she was like, "What are you doing? Don't trim that. Don't trim the edges off. We bought that." And I'm like, "Honey, it's been there for the past year. You haven't touched it. I'm just shaving off the edges because it looks better that way. And I'm gonna move it around and put it somewhere that I think looks nice." And she did not like that. So
Mhm.
my day was going great until we got into a little bit of a spat. But you know what? I've noticed like we try not to go to bed
Mhm.
with us still being angry at one another. Like we try to resolve whatever it is as best as we could.
Yeah. That's what, like prioritizing, like you guys, like everyone fight, and like
Yeah,
without fighting there is no relationship. Like if you guys are not, if anyone is like not fighting, that means someone is just building up in the inside.
right,
Like yeah, so it's good to fight, it's good to express, it's good to have conversations. But yes, the goal is like you have that goal perfect, right? Like by end of the day you have to get it resolved, don't carry it over to the next day.
right.
So yeah.
Because that's how you build resentment, like you said, and
Yeah.
you start to become passive aggressive towards one another.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what, like speaking it out, like sometimes like people like express their anger in different forms. Like some people they just go numb. That is very dangerous. Like when you just go quiet, you need to let that process, right? Like she told you, like, don't trim those edges, like
Yeah.
that's expressing, it's good.
Yeah.
Now you know,
Yeah.
like she didn't like it, and like you will talk it out, and like you both will talk it out, and like we'll come to an agreement, okay, next time, without
Well,
consulting.
can I ask
Yes.
you, well, can I tell you, I did trim the edges, even though she told me not to do it. So in that case, how could I have done a better job? Should I have said, okay, fine, I'll put this back. Let's discuss about it. I just didn't think it was worth discussing because it's something that we purchased over a year ago. I don't think she really cares that much about it, and she didn't really care too much about it. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
but until you touched it, right? Like until she remembered that.
yeah,
So yeah, like these are all like small things, but still, like women, like they kind of take few things personally, like, especially
okay,
the things around the house. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, going forward next time.
Okay. I'd be like, all right, fine. We'll discuss. I'll put it
Yes,
back.
we'll discuss.
So
Like
can
at least like sometimes what happens, it's not even about the picture. It might be something like, why didn't he check with me? He should
oh,
have checked
okay.
with me, right? Like, why didn't he
Yeah.
prioritize me? Like, he's making this change. If he would have just said, like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Is it okay?
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, like she would agree with you. Like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
trim it, let's hang it. It's just like building that conversation.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think like,
that's a really good suggestion. Thank you for
yeah,
that.
it's like just,
I didn't even think about it that way. Like asking her, like, hey, how would you feel if I do this?
yeah. Yeah, it's just like sometimes we don't think that far. We'll be like, you will be thinking like, what's the big deal with this picture? It's just a picture. But
Yeah.
the underlying thing might not be just the picture. It might be, yeah, something like, why did he not check with me?
Can I ask you, when people come to you, your clients that come to you, like, what are they struggling with the most?
Usually, like, my niche is like mindset. Like I work mostly with the mindset, like setting their goals. I work with people like who are like one of my client, like she was trying to lose weight, so I was like helping her with setting her goals, like how to. And again, like with this particular client,
Yeah.
minds, it wasn't like her weight loss wasn't working as she expected, like she wasn't losing weight as she expected. The reason is she wasn't like really doing it for herself, like this whole society, like, you know when we talked it out, she was like, yeah, like my weight, I'm not that overweight, it doesn't bother me that much, like
Yeah.
after talking it out, even she realized, yeah, I just want to be fit, I
Yeah.
just want to be more active. Weight loss was not my thing, like I don't want to be that like skinny girl, like whatever it is, that it's
Hmm.
just the society. As a society, I thought like maybe I just have to lose weight, but my focus is not that. My focus is more of a strength training. I want to be
Be
active,
healthy. Yeah, and
be
healthy.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like these kind of things, like initially she was focusing more on like just losing those inches,
Yeah.
and because that wasn't her real core need, it wasn't working.
So what did you tell her? What were the questions you were
Like, yeah,
asking her?
we were going through like what and all she was doing, like how she's eating healthy, and like all that,
Mm,
like what kind of exercises she's doing, and like how can we work with her work life balance, like how
yeah.
long she's working, and like when she can fit that workout hours and all that. But still, like in the inner, she was like being more pulled towards eating healthy and
Yeah.
like working out, like during our conversations, weight loss wasn't coming up.
Yeah.
Her focus was like, as she was like talking more, she was like more about like, I want to be strong, I want to be more active, I want to run, I want to do this, I want to be more active with my kids, I want to be more playful, like more of a present, like I should have more presence of mind, like all these
Mm,
things. But it was like in the whole conversations, it was never about like, I want to fit into these clothes, I want to lose weight. It was never
yeah.
like that. And in the end, I was like, why did you not talk about the weight loss, like the inch loss, which was the actual issue. And then she was like, yeah, why did I not talk about it? You know, yeah, it's like, but these are the my main priorities, it like, and if the inch loss comes with it, it's good, you know,
Yeah,
but the
yeah. That's
main
just the added
focus,
bonus.
yeah, yeah. But at the end, that's what, like, we don't suggest, we don't tell them like what to think or like what to, as a life coach, I don't advise. I just have to let her talk and like ask these questions like, why did you not think about that? Why did you not talk about any of this inch loss or like anything like that? Why is it like more about strength and being active, doing all these activities? And then she realized, yes, I should not be focusing on inch loss. I should be starting to working out towards being more strong. And it actually worked
Yeah.
since she started, like she's like, now she's very active, and like the inch loss, it is, it's working, you know the focus, the mind focus, like if she starts with the inch loss, she's not going to, it doesn't go anywhere, because that's not her core thing. She's not going to like, she likes food, she wants to eat healthy. She's
Who
not
doesn't
like
like
some,
food? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like, if inch loss is just the priority, it's different, right? Like that motivation is different, and like, it's different. But the way she's walking towards her goal, what her mind wants and what her she wants internally is different. And when she started working towards that and forgetting about this inch loss and like building
Yeah.
herself, building her core strength,
Hmm.
now she looks more fit,
Yeah. And she
yeah,
probably feels good too and
yeah, yeah. So
is more
every,
confident.
yes, as
Yeah.
like that's what I feel like, the look and personality. I work with a lot of people with this, like, nowadays with the social media, so many people have so many insecurities,
Yeah.
like how the way we look, the way confidence,
It's not
that's,
real. Like all that shit on social media
yes,
it's not real.
it's,
And I just wanted to touch on what you were talking about, weight loss, and it's so funny how society has decided that being healthy equals skinny. You
yeah,
need to be skinny to be healthy. You could be the skinniest person on the planet and be so unhealthy. I
yes,
know a lot of skinny, unhealthy people with a lot of issues.
yeah,
So,
high cholesterol,
right, right, yeah,
yeah. So that's what, like, these beauty standards, like, and like let's say like there is this beautiful person, but like not everyone will like that person, right? Like, it's not, beauty is not something that you look, it's not about the looks, like it's just the energy, it's what the energy you bring into, right? Like if you feel that positive energy, the person will automatically look pretty. It's just the
yeah,
confidence, like what you bring to the table, like how you carry yourself. It's, so that's what we work on. Like, it's not, it's just like how you carry yourself, how confident you are. So
yeah.
people will just see the confidence. It's like the positive vibes you bring into. So I work with these kind of people as well, like,
Hmm.
you know, and yeah, so these are the main things. Like, main focus is mindset,
Yeah,
and my other niche is like the parenting. I work on, like, that's very personal to me, like
yeah,
parenting, because like even this whole life coach thing, the down phase I was going through, it started during my second pregnancy. And like, the postmortal depression, the
yeah.
postpartum depression, again, that depression, it doesn't have to be a clinical depression. You don't have to go to that extent. But
Hmm.
still, people should know like the changes, what are the
Can I
changes that,
ask you, yeah, can I
yeah,
ask you what are some of those changes? Because I am completely oblivious to postpartum depression. I know it's a very real thing that certain women face. And I know people in my extended family who've gone through it, but I never had the opportunity to ask them like, hey, what was it like? Because I
yeah,
think it's such a personal thing, and also like I just didn't know them enough.
Yeah.
and only if you feel comfortable talking about it.
No, yeah, this is the main thing. Like even before I found like life coaching, even before I knew there is like something like this, there is life coaching. My
Yeah,
initial dream was to like after I went through my pregnancies, I was like, if women are going through this, like we need to educate people. Like they should know what they are getting into, like how it is going to be. Like like both men and women, like they both husband and wife, they both should know how things are going to change. It's not just with the baby, it's not just that, like the psychologically, physically, the woman, and even for the men, I realized even my husband, like suddenly we have this responsibility, there's we have to take care of this kid. Even men go through this, like they have this burden in them, like oh my god, now I'm responsible for this new person, I need to
yeah,
take care of it, so I have to
yeah,
do more, like I have to take care of my health you know
yeah,
Actually, my husband went through this. Like he was like he suddenly like, oh my god, now I'm responsible. I have to take care of my health. Like that is pressure too, right? I have to
yeah,
like yeah, there is no way I can take more chances with my work. I have to create this security for my
yeah,
family, right? So I talked to people about all this. I actually wanted to like create. This is where it all started. My initial thought was like I want to create a non-profit organization where like we follow up with women, like the postpartum women,
yeah,
and just check on them, like how are you, like sometimes you can't even express your feelings to your family or even a husband, like especially during that time you have all the support system but still you cannot talk. So if someone just follows up and like talk to them, like this is how it is going to be if you're feeling any of these symptoms of, if you are just feeling low, if you feel like people are not understanding you, if you feel like people are not taking care like enough,
yeah,
like however much you have support, like it feels like it's not enough, especially during that time. So if you're feeling like that, we just want, I want you to know that like we're all here. Like you have such a big support system. Just speak up, ask for help. Like asking for help is good thing. So whatever you are feeling, it's just a phase. This is just because of all the hormonal changes. And it's postpartum, it's not a small thing. Like your body, it takes at least an year to recover. And this whole hormonal thing, it say people say like it takes around like 2 to 2.5 years to properly heal from that like hormonal changes. So it's a long term process. And that's what I felt like. If I felt like this, like hospital, like in the hospital they checked, do you have
yeah,
any extreme thoughts? No, like not everyone has extreme thoughts. Like when you have extreme thoughts, that help you get is completely different. But what if like I'm just feeling down? What if like I'm not able to enjoy the new change? It's all like a
yeah,
small mindset, like just talking it out, like talking to people, like little bit of guidance will help come out of that.
yeah,
It's for both. Like even men should understand, okay, this is what my wife is like. Even if she's asking for like too much of support, like men should be able to understand where she's coming from. Maybe she's going through this. It's not personal, it's not always like attack. Like when women keeps complaining, like they start to complain, okay, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Sometimes it's not personal attack, it's not attack on you. It's just like they're trying to express themselves. It's not,
yeah.
yeah, it's not personal. So men should understand that it's not personal. They're just expressing like, so yeah. So that's my main niche. Like,
So you work with mostly women.
yes, so far like
Okay.
it's mostly like the mindset. I
Okay.
do have like couple of men, but like mostly, yeah, it's like
And what are some
it's
of the challenges the men face versus women? So I feel like women, it's more so postpartum depression, possibly some weight loss,
yeah,
mindset, and how
mind
about the men?
like with men, what I came across through is like in the work, more confident issues, like they're not able to like talk what they mean, like what they are thinking.
Yeah.
They're not able to put across their thoughts,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
confidence, like how to build the confidence, how to be more proactive, like especially in the meetings, like those are like, I just have like very few men clients, but yeah, these are the
Yeah.
issues, you know.
I struggle with that too, by the way. Like even at work, like I struggle, or I think I used to struggle with that, and I've realized like there's a language barrier, there's a confidence issue,
Yes.
um, and I started to take classes. I started to take communication classes. I started to be more confident, and what I learned is that like if you could live in a world where communication just didn't matter, like how would you speak? So it's like, you know you're not being phony because it's coming out of your
Yeah.
mouth. So
Yes.
that is your voice. That is how you sound. And how I was taught that it's like a piano, and a piano has, 88 or 80 keys, and you could, play around with it and it sounds different.
Yeah.
So, when I see friends and family that haven't seen me in a long time, and they see me after years and they're like, "Oh my God, you sound so different." I'm like, it's because you haven't seen me in a long time. Um, so yeah, if it's
That's
communication
one of
stuff.
the, yeah, that's one of the exact issue I was working with, the language barrier. So like, yeah, it's English is not most of the people's like first language, right? It's our second language. We just
Yeah,
use it to communicate in the work, like after going
right.
home, like most of the people, they have their own languages. But
Yeah.
in that case, what I suggest, like what we realize, what we worked through is, why are we just focusing on our like things that we're not perfect? We have our strengths, right? Like when
Yeah.
we go to
Yeah.
meeting, what is our strength? The subject.
Right.
Like the person I worked with, he's a developer. You
And those are some of
develop
the
it.
smartest, those are some of
Yeah,
the smartest
yeah,
people in the
that's
world.
what.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say anything. You don't even have to talk. It doesn't matter. You developed it.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, so know your subject. As long as like other person can understand you, that's it. Like they only respect you for the knowledge that you have. It's not about, and everyone knows it's not just you or me, or like it's not just like few people. We all know, it's like we all speak differently, we all look different. So just embrace, like focus more on your subject. What are the
Yeah.
positives that you have? When you go into meeting, be more prepared with what you're offering. Don't
Hmm.
forget about, like completely forget about how you're going to talk. When the
Yeah.
knowledge, when you're prepared with your assets, the words will automatically roll. That's
Right.
what I realized. Yeah, like your mind is so confident, it wants to speak out, right? So the
Yeah.
language will automatically fall into place. That's what happens with me. English is not
Yeah.
my first language, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't focus on it. As long as the other person is working and my subject is working, it's making change for them, right? So that matters.
Someone told me a joke the other day. Can I tell you the joke? It's
Sure.
about
Yeah.
language. Okay. So what do you call someone who speaks three languages?
Several language,
Th
multilingual, three
Three languages.
languages.
Yeah.
Trilingual?
Triling
Yeah.
Trilinguist. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call someone who speaks two languages?
Bilingual?
Yeah. What do you call someone who speaks one language?
I don't know.
An American.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. So
So it's beautiful that we're able to speak like multiple languages.
that's true.
It,
It's
it's
an asset, right? Like your
yeah,
brain is so powerful that it is able to switch between all these languages. Your thoughts are in different language, but the
yeah,
output that you're giving is like, it's an asset.
yeah,
It's you're sharpening your brain.
right.
So yeah.
That,
So
so those are some of the language. Those are some of the issues that the men go through. Interesting. Um, are there any other challenges you see them
yeah.
going through?
Yes, and one more thing is like being able to say no, especially with the work, especially like from
Oh,
certain
I struggle
cultures.
with
Like,
that.
yeah,
I struggle with that so much. I want to hear about this. I want to hear
yeah.
what you have to say about this.
So especially from certain cultural backgrounds, it's like saying no is like, no. How can you say no? You
Right,
can do it. It.
right.
Yeah, it's like it's a powerful thing. Like you can do it. Like No,
I
it's
love
very
the word
important.
no. I love the word no now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No is very powerful. You should be able to set boundaries, like especially in work. You should be able to speak out what you want. And like, I know all these people, like they're burnt out, like with all the excess work, they don't know how to say no, and they just keep taking work, you know. So that's one of the things, like how do I say no to my managers? Like how can I
Yeah.
say, like, this is my limit and this is what I'm going to do, and I'll push that work to tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I read somewhere, like, this is like a the quote that I really liked, and it really stuck with me. You should be able to say no, but even that no should sound like yes, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, being like, don't, no shouldn't be like, no, I'm not doing that. No, just
Yeah.
explain. Like people will understand when you explain why you are saying no. Start with that. At least like you have a justification, right? Like you are saying no, not because you're saying no, I have this much of work, so what I would do is like I'll postpone it to tomorrow, I'll start doing
Yeah.
it tomorrow, or like I'll prioritize it. Let's
Right.
say like,
I have
okay, this is,
competing priorities, right?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is my priority list. So whatever I'm working on right now is my first priority. So I'll come to it once I'm done with this. That is also like setting a boundary. Just don't accept everything, like whatever they say. Even they'll, you're not just doing yourself a favor by saying that no, or like explaining your priorities. You're also giving them better picture, right? Like you are
Yeah.
giving them the clear picture. So think in that way as well. Like don't get burnt out or just don't overwork. Give them the clear picture and they will have opportunity to prioritize as well. Like, oh, okay, is this what you are working right now? No, I
Yeah.
think like the next thing, this one is more priority. So start working on the B and then we'll go to A.
Yeah.
So it's all like communication. Like first, what I say is like when you get a thought, just talk to you, talk with you. Just
Yeah.
explain that to yourself. You'll feel more confident. Once
Yeah.
you process that thought and then you express it, you'll feel more confident. Because you already edited it and you did all that editing in your thought.
Right, 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 right. Or
Yeah.
or
So
write it down or write your
yeah,
thought down
yeah.
because putting pen to paper is it makes such a
Oh my
big
God.
difference.
Journaling is like, oh my God, like it all changed like for me when I started journaling. I don't
Yeah.
do journaling. When I say journaling, people say, like, okay, do you write down every day? No, it's not every day. It doesn't have to have like a particular time. Anything, like if I feel like there is any issue for me right now, I'll just write it down. And like, believe me, most of the time after writing it down, when I read it back, like I edit it, like most of the things are like just overthinking you know
Yeah.
yeah, no, it doesn't, it's not that bad. Let me strike it
Yeah.
off. It's not that bad. So yeah, journaling, writing it down, just that brain dump is very important,
I think of it like a
especially in this.
presentation.
Yeah, you just present it to yourself. You see it.
Yeah. And once you do that, you start to see like, okay, this doesn't make sense. And here's why it doesn't make sense. Maybe I should present it like this. And I'm saying that because I'm actually currently doing a project at work where I have to do presentations and I have to present to C-suite folks. And they have a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
Their time is valuable because what they do every day is they solve problems on a day in, day out basis. So I know I have about 30 minutes with them. How do I get the most out of their time? And it's like, okay, well, I gotta make sure I gotta have a strong base. Look, that like this is what I'm trying to get across to them, and then just kind of build
Mm-hmm.
on that. So, and one of the ways I was able to do that is writing my thoughts down and obviously having a slideshow and a presentation, having some cheat sheets, like even for the podcast, like this isn't just like off the top of my head. I mean, I have, my notebook here with
Mm-hmm.
me that I write down questions to ask the guest. So there's prep work that goes behind it. And I say that because we live in a world where, we're so addicted to
Yes.
these that, all we do is just scroll.
Yes,
scroll, and so there's so many thoughts running through our head all the time that we're consuming, that we don't even remember half the shit that we see on here. Um, so yeah,
exactly.
writing it
So
down.
yeah, so like right now, like most of the people, like we do it with our work, or like anything that is job related. When there is deadline, like okay, this is what we have to do, then we write it down.
Yeah,
But what I feel like it should be done for every thought, like whatever it is. Like we scroll to the phone, right? Like there are so many thoughts that okay, I saw this handbag, I saw this dress, like you.
yeah,
But end of the day, most of the thoughts, you just have them in your brain. They're like
yeah,
you're not going to take any action on any of these thoughts. But when
yeah.
they're in your mind, they're just like going around, like they're swirling. Like when you put it down, when you write it down, you know how priority it is. Like, should I really have to worry about this? No, it's complete. It emptied you from your mind. you know
Right.
Emptying your mind is very, very, very important.
How
It's
do you deal with people like where, because you seem like a person that's like a very positive and uplifting. I think you kind of have to be as a life coach. Of course, you obviously, I'm not saying you don't have bad days. Of course, you have bad days and good
yes.
days. And I could see some of your frustration when we were trying to get the
Yeah.
audio to work. So how do you deal with people that are just kind of like not good people, or like they're a little negative, and like,
Mhm.
and they don't like the energy that you bring or I bring because it's kind of quote unquote too much for them? How do you deal with those kind of situations?
So this is how I used to be. Okay. Right now, all my frustration, it comes out with my husband and my husband, like he delays until the last minute. Okay. I am someone like who tries to go to bed with everything prepared for the next day. That is how
Okay.
I am. But like he'll start doing stuff half an hour before the meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where the conflict happens. But usually, like even from the beginning, I am very sensitive to energies. you know like if someone is having any negative energy, I like I respond to it, like I could feel it. And I
Hmm.
used to it used to affect me a lot.
Yeah.
So even before a person says something, if they're carrying some negative energy, I used to get affected by it. And when I get affected, I used to blame myself.
Yeah.
Like before I started working on myself, look, people, like we're all energies, right? Like that person might have a bad day, or like,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, I used to get affected a lot. Then I realized, okay, if it is affecting, if I feel like it's going to affect me, I don't want to. I have a option that I can like remove myself from that position, right? So I prioritized my energy. I prioritized protecting my energy. And
Yeah.
it doesn't happen all the time. Like when you have a family, like, it's not like, let's say like you're in a work. You just cannot say like, okay, this person is having a negative energy, so I'm going to
Right.
I'm going to
You're
change my
you're
tune.
dismissed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't work like that all the time.
Right.
So I realized like I cannot control that other person's energy, right? So I started working on myself. So I remind myself like, what is my priority? Should I be responding to it? I understand. So like first thing is like being mindful. Be mindful and understand what is happening. Okay, it's not with me, it's about the other person. Okay, maybe the other person is having a bad day, or like we
Right.
don't know what is happening.
Right.
So let me not that energy affect me. How can I
Hmm.
protect myself? How can I not focus in that area? Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
I can distract my mind, right? Like I can prioritize my things and I can work on. So that is how I work with my, like, negative environments. Like anything that is bothering me, even though I'm sitting there, I switch off my mind from focusing on that. So I don't get into that loop. Why is
Right.
this person doing this to me? What is happening? Because I
Right.
used to do this a lot. So, like, even when people come to me with these issues, I totally understand what is happening in their mind, because I was there at some point in, like doing
Yeah.
that. going in that loop. But
Right.
nowadays I'm like, okay, this energy is not vibing with me, but this is what I have to do. I'm at work, I have to be nice to this person, so let me not take that to my heart.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
nothing personal.
personal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not
personal.
personal.
Yeah.
It's not personal. Like I just work towards my priority, my goal for this meeting. Like, it just happens like that. And even before going to anything, I I like, I pray to the universe saying like, okay, let this all be positive. It's not just for me, for other person, everyone, you know. And one of my things is like, whatever, if you everyone has to be very selfish with their positive energy, with their energy. So if I am selfish, that means I have to generate that energy. If I generate positive energy, you will be able to generate it too, right? So it's
Hmm.
just reflection. If I'm very positive with you, you are going to be positive with me. So I am giving you positive energy in exchange of getting the positive energy. So
Yeah.
whatever you give, you will get it back. So if someone is radiating negative energy, don't focus on that. You just try to generate your positive. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, like people can be mean to you, but it will only affect you when you let that to your heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, only when you receive it, that's when you are giving that negative energy or like negative thought the power.
Do you practice any meditation by any chance?
Yes, I practice meditation, but like meditation doesn't mean like sitting for half an hour or just closing my eyes or anything like that. But
Hmm.
I every day like I completely practice mindfulness. I focus on everything that I'm doing. Like I decided that my life should not be in that autopilot mode anymore.
Hmm.
Like most of our things, like most of our daily activities, we just do them in autopilot. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just have to wake up, like brush your teeth, until you reach to office, everything is autopilot. You don't even have to think. You
Yeah.
don't have to think like you just wear your socks, shoes, you just go to your office. It's set. But and during all this process, you're listening to news or you're listening to music, your mind is somewhere.
Yeah.
So no, just focusing on, like, when I started talking about it, like people were like, really, it sounded silly to them, but no, it helps, you
But
know.
it so does. It
it,
like
it
it's
does.
you're more in charge of your life. You're in
Yeah,
control. You're in the driver's seat now. You're not a backseat driver anymore.
exactly.
You're in the driver's seat. And I
And
think so many people really struggle with that. Like not just struggle like getting the driver's seat, but they struggle to even understand that,
yes.
you can control your life and
And I
mold it and
tell
shape it
people,
however you want.
like, what is more addictive? Just being that mindful, like, you knowing what is happening and being that happy and being in that vibrating state.
Yeah.
That's like the most addictive thing, like ever.
Yeah.
You're happy. Like once you realize that, okay, these things can make me happy and like this is how I want to live, you will not go back to your old patterns.
Yeah.
Like your biggest your biggest loyal supporter is your mind. You just have to, and your body, your whole system listens to your mind, right? Like that's what they say, like your body doesn't know the difference between dream and reality. That's the reason, like when you have a bad dream, you just wake up like shivering because your body doesn't know that it's a dream. It feels like it's real.
Hmm.
So when your mind, that's how loyal your body is. So
Yeah.
if you know how to manage that, if you know how to tap that brain and like how to use your mind to manage your body, that's the best version that you can get to, like, that's
Yeah.
what I tell. Like I see all these videos on like TikTok or Instagram, like about these beauty routines and all that. No, just focus. Like you can observe, like if you're focusing on your skin, the the blood flow, all your energy is being concentrated on your skin, right? It helps your skin to heal.
Hmm.
Same thing happens with like whenever I work with body positivity, like all these things, I tell them like, don't worry too much about hair fall. If you're focusing too much on that, that is stressing it out. Just like start to enjoy what you have, like focus, nourish. When you're nurturing what you have
Yeah.
mindfully, it will it will flourish.
Yeah.
So I think like the mindfulness and journaling, these are like two most underrated things. But like those,
Super.
they just make magic.
Yeah.
They just make like wonders. Like just being mindful, it gives you so much of satisfaction. Like in end of the day, if you just think about it, like, oh, these are all the things that I did, and your control of everything you planned, and you enjoyed everything that you did.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the two things I tell everyone: just be mindful. And I don't know who invented that multitasking. No, not
I
multitasking.
I cannot multitask. I'm not
Yeah,
saying I can't walk and chew gum. I could do that, but multitasking in the sense of like, I've got two, three projects that I'm working on. I
yeah.
just can't do it.
It's not worth it. Like you're not giving 100% to it.
Right. I could do it, but it's not gonna be the way I'm not gonna be completely satisfied with it because
Yeah.
it's almost like I gave it 70% rather than 150%.
Yeah, that's what. Like if you're doing something that you don't like, in that situations, I would say like, okay, listen to music. So you're not focusing on like you have to do this work, but at the same time, you don't enjoy that work. In that kind of scenarios, yes, listen to music or like do certain kind of things to take that stress out. But other than that, like for regular daily habits, no, like just focus on what you're doing. That will actually help in every sense, like
Yeah.
even health wise. Like whenever you are exercising, I tell like it works mostly. The exercising gives good results when you are working with a trainer, right? Because the trainer is motivating you. Like the trainer is telling you like, okay, this is what we are going to expect, this is what we are going to do, this is the plan. you know your mind believes that your body is working towards that goal. But if it is like you're just doing it, going, walking on a treadmill with the music, your body
Right.
doesn't have any goal. It doesn't
Right,
know
right.
what to expect, right?
There's no mind body connection. It's
Yeah,
just it's you're doing it because you
you're
someone
just
told you to
doing
do it
it.
or
Yeah,
like you think you're supposed to do it. When you don't make that mind body connection, there's the muscle I forget the word that they use to for it, but yeah, there's no mind body
yes.
connection and your muscles aren't growing the way maybe you want them to
Yeah,
grow.
there is no focus. Your body doesn't know what it has to do. You just told it to walk, it is just walking.
Yeah.
That's it. But if you tell it like, okay, this is what I'm expecting. Okay, I want to get more strength in my calf muscles. The energy will be more focused on that.
Yeah.
Like if I want to lose more belly fat, like you just have to tell your body. It might sound silly, but it works. Like you have to tell your body what you are expecting and what it should be doing, and it
Yeah.
will work for you.
I see that even in my kickboxing class I was telling you about this morning. The trainer he uses like positive words to say, we're like 5 minutes into the workout, into the start of the class, and he's like, "You already did enough. You guys already did enough. You did great. Um, don't overdo it. Take a break if you need to." Like all these wordplay that they use, it helps you like stay focused on the task and you feel good, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come back to this class because I feel great doing this.
Yeah.
And that mind-body connection is there. Um, and yeah, it's like words have a way of building you up and words have a way of breaking you down too.
Exactly. That's what, like, words are so powerful. So, like, anything that comes off of your mouth, it has to be very wise. Like, it has to like even if you talk negative things about the others, they might affect you because your body doesn't know if you're using these negative things on the others or just you, right? So that's what they say, like even if you generate negative thoughts, like it affects you internally. So
Mhm.
the thought and words are very powerful. So yeah, just imagine, like just in that one class the trainer can do, like give you that much of high just by the words.
Right.
Imagine you being in charge and you being your coach, your trainer the whole day.
Why do you think so many people struggle with that on where they're on the opposite spectrum where they struggle to maybe get to that energy level that you and I are talking about? Why do you think they struggle with that?
it's
We
just
call
it's
it
just
negative energy, but maybe, whatever. To them, that just might be a normal day.
That's what, like not realizing it,
Yeah,
until you see it you don't even know, right? You're just,
yeah,
okay, I'm not feeling good. That's it,
yeah.
that's the feeling. But why are you not feeling good? You have to analyze, you have to be focused, you have to be mindfully present, right? Like to analyze, like why am I feeling this? And once you tap that part of brain to activate, like you just have to activate that. And once it
Mhm.
gets activated, it will follow through. Like whenever you get, next time when you get into that situation, your mind will be like, oh, this might be the negative thing, be like this. It will make sure that you don't get into those negative patterns.
Yeah.
As long as we're not mindful, like our entire life it just goes in patterns. That's why they say, like you keep finding everything as you did like before. You just keep going in those old patterns until you break the pattern.
Could it also be like if you're around certain people that you could just naturally pick up some of these behaviors? Like I know that because I lived with my mom and dad for a very long time, I've picked up a lot of good habits, but some bad habits too I've picked up from
Yeah,
them that I had to analyze and be like, okay, this is not the best thing.
that's what like
Yeah.
the surroundings, it matters.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I tell, like nowadays it's not just about the people. Like we have all these phones, like we keep getting, like anything you just glance for a few seconds, the the similar content will keep coming up, right? So it is
Yeah.
very important to be, that's what, again, the mindfulness, just
Yeah.
being mindful about, like, and knowing what you want, prioritize yourself, prioritize, okay, I want to be the positive person, I want to, this is how I want to lead my life. Just prioritize that. I want to, like every day morning, first thing I wake up and I was like, I just want to be positive the whole day. I don't want to get into any negativity, I don't want to get into negative fights you know
Right.
so just by telling yourself that, it will focus more on the positive. And as you're being mindful, you will understand, okay, this is what, like the way I was saying, right? Like you will understand what things are stressing you out. Like right now,
Yeah.
I like to be on time, but when the camera and the audio thing didn't work, it stressed me out. We're all
Yeah.
human, like however much positive we want to be, things do happen. But like
Right.
just bouncing back again, like, oh, okay, it worked, okay, let me bounce back. Before, it used to affect me, like, oh, what would Amir think, like, okay, I came late. So nowadays I'm like, okay, it happened, let me bounce back, this is more priority. you know
Yeah.
just being aware and like coming out of it, bouncing back, those things, like just being mindful, knowing, okay, this is what is getting me into that loop, this is what is like pushing me into that negative thoughts
Yeah.
you know
I've even heard of like you said, surrounding yourself with positive people, like-minded energy. Like even I noticed that even in the workplace, where if I'm around um C-suite or just like high energy people that are kind of busy and are solving problems every day, like it makes me more productive.
yes,
Which is one of the reasons why I love going into the office. I cannot work from home because there's just so many distractions. Um,
that's what, like
yeah,
you
your
you
surroundings are huge, huge.
yeah,
That's a huge
you
part
you
of that
attract
positive mindset.
you attract what you are you know that's what, like during the transition time, if this is what, like right, like let's say, like I'm in a negative mode right now, but when
Mhm.
I'm aware that I want to be positive, I have to mindfully make that change, right? Okay, this is what I want to be. This is how I want to be. So let me make that change. Let me make my surroundings change. I want to be more with this kind of people. You know,
Right.
even the phone, like the Instagram feeds or anything, the digital environment nowadays, like more than like these days, like people don't even come out of their houses for like couple of days, like more than like even it goes to a week.
That's so
You
true. I
know?
was talking to someone who was like, I don't like coming out of my house anymore. And I was
Yeah.
like, why don't you like coming out of your house? And he's like, the world is so mean and negative. I'm like, and I was just trying to tell them like, it's not. The world is not mean and negative. Yes, there are good things and bad things, but the people are mostly nice. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it is what we
get out of the
focus
social
on.
media.
Yeah, that's what. Like even that digital environment, you have to be very mindful because I see so many issues like people running behind things just because like someone is doing. That doesn't mean you have to do it. Like
Right.
there is more possibility of like running behind the wrong goals, right? Like
Trying to catch the trend.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to work if it is not in you, if it is not your true self. Like, however much hard work you put into, it's not going to work because it is not coming from you. It is not your goal, right? If I'm
Yeah.
just working, if I see, okay, yeah, they're working that hard and they're putting that much of effort because that's their passion, you know? So, yeah, being aware of like what you really want is also very important. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be, yeah, that's what I say like these days, like more than people, be careful with your digital environment. Like surround with, like, keep deleting, keep blocking anything that is affecting you. Okay, just make sure you're seeing the feeds that you want to be, the positive things, the positive,
Yeah.
like, you know,
There's a
whatever
lot of good
you're
things on the internet. There's so much good on the internet. That's how I found
completely.
you. I
Yeah,
found you through the internet. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, there is
So,
so much of, that's what, like you will
yeah.
find whatever you are looking for, you know.
Yeah.
That's what, like, there is, that's what I told you, right? Like since I started, I didn't get any negativity. It's how you project, like how, and even before I started, I thought like, okay, even if I get any negative, I'm going to respond with positivity. You know, that's how, that's the purpose, right? You know, if there is any, like as a life coach, I shouldn't be getting into their loop. They should
Yeah.
be coming towards my positivity. I shouldn't be getting into their negative loop, you know.
So
So
can I ask you like, but do you think you'll get to a point in life where, you have, let's say so many followers or so many people who are coming to you for advice that, I feel like eventually there are going to be people who are going to bring the negativity and not say nice things just because, it's like when you get enough high, people will somehow always want to pull you down. I feel like that's just like how life is. And I feel like, are you ever going to get to a point where like there's going to be some negative comment and you're gonna I get to
it
a
would
point where like,
affect
you know what,
me.
like I'm not gonna even like read the comments anymore, or you're like, no, I'm still gonna respond with positivity.
So this is what my thing is. Like even before as I told you, like even before I found like what life coaching is,
Yeah,
like I I went through a transformation and I want people to experience that. It's
yeah,
really amazing. Like that you don't have to be depressed. Like just not thriving itself is bad. Like you should be, every day you should be enjoying every minute,
yeah.
you know.
Life is precious.
It's very precious. Like so you, I want people to be able to enjoy that. If I'm going to help even one person, it's worth it. That's what,
Yeah,
I'm not like, there is no goal for my journey, you know. I want to do it every day. It's making me happy. That's the main
yeah.
thing. You know, the
Right.
goal is like, me doing this is making me happy. And
What
if
was
I,
some of the re Sorry, go ahead. I just had to follow up with what you were saying.
yeah, yeah,
That
that's what, like, goal is like making me happy, and if it helps even one person, it serves the purpose.
right.
So yeah.
Now, how did your family react, or the people in your circle, like when you went through this transformation? Did you see changes in them? because they saw changes in you.
uh Yes, kind of. That I told you, right? Like my family, they're very supportive.
Yeah.
Like touch wood, like even if I tell them like I'm going to run for a president or like going to moon tomorrow, they'll start preparing. They'll be like, okay, we're going to support you. You know,
That's
it
amazing. I love to
yeah,
hear that.
yeah. It's my husband, my parents, like my kids, they're that supportive. Anything you do, we'll set up for you. We'll help as much as we can to you. But and anyone is not in that circle, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So these are the core people, like whoever matters to you, if they're supporting you, that's it.
Yeah.
So like if they changed, if I changed, it affected them, it doesn't bother me. It's my peace. It's my transformation. I had to be happy. That's what, like in one of those bits I was telling, like and everything I post on social media, it's my experience, and I only post if I believe in it. I don't, like, I just don't just read a book and just post it. And like setting that boundaries, saying no, okay, this is how I am going to be, is not a luxury. It is like it is required, for you to thrive and for you to start living. It is required. So at some point of the time you have to set boundaries. You have to let people know, okay, this is your threshold. You cannot stretch beyond this you know
Is this your first time doing a podcast?
Yes.
Okay, that's totally fine because
My husband does it all the time. I don't know how he does it without anything set up properly.
does he is he also on social media as well?
He is, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, he is.
I'm gonna have to reach out to him next.
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian. So yeah.
No, that is amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are stand-up comedians, and I'm actually doing some script writing myself right now. So
Oh, perfect.
I have to talk to him because
Yeah.
one of the things I've learned is like when it comes to stand-up comedy is like I love to learn like how does the other person do their writing? Like how are they writing their script? Because people think like they're just this is how they are. No, like there's a
Yeah.
lot of work that goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, a
A
lot of
lot of
thought.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's I got to get in touch with them. That's amazing. And I just want to let you know for your first time doing the podcast, you were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
The first time I did a podcast, I was nervous as shit. I remember, I was so scared. I couldn't even like, um, speak my mind. I was like reading off of a script. Every question was just like me looking down and reading off of the script.
Yeah.
And and it was very uncomfortable for me to do that. And so like and that's one of the things. It's like coming out of your shell, putting yourself in like these uncomfortable situations so you could learn from them because
Yes.
you learn from your failures the most.
Yeah. That's what, like the trust the process. No,
Yeah.
like when you're positive, nothing bad will happen. That's what I think. Like, when you're people will see that positivity. So
Yeah.
just be confident with what you can do. Like know what your assets are, like what is your strength.
Yeah.
And I never had any issue with um public speaking. I enjoyed most when I was like presenting my projects at work. So even with the language barrier, like that's what people
Yeah.
used to think, like, no, I just believed my subject will speak you know
Yeah.
so I never had that issue, and I trust the process. Like, it's just if it has to work, it will work. So
Did you take any classes? Did you do any sort of rehearsals, or was it just like you kind of putting your pen to paper, your thoughts together?
I read a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I just pick it from there. I only
Okay.
write down like my goals, my
Okay.
planning, my issues
Okay.
mostly because I don't want to go into those negative patterns. So
Okay.
any issue that I face, I'll write it down and I edit it. And when you write it down, your brain will suddenly start working towards, solution.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I do. But other than that, I
Can
just
I can I ask you to share some of your goals? Can I ask you like what some of your goals are?
That's what, like, don't focus on where this is going to be. Like how, like I'm just doing this
Hmm.
day at a time. So
Yeah.
okay, this is, I'm enjoying it today,
Hmm.
and I'm doing it today. I
Yeah.
didn't even like plan anything, you know. One day I decided like, okay, I need to get certification because I've been doing this for a while, but I thought like, okay, let me, uh, to get more clients. It's good to be on social media. It's good
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
and like there is more exposure. And I realized, especially after COVID, there are so many people that are having issues and they're posting on social media, like an anonymous posts. People want to talk to someone, and especially with this generation, like even if you have supporting family, the issues are different. The issues that this generation is going through is different from what our parents went through. They're not
Yeah.
able to relate this. So people need some support, people want to talk. So I realized, okay, if someone is like posting their issues on social media, even if one person uh, hears this, and if they feel good on that day, the purpose is served.
Yeah.
So my goal is like not to think too far ahead, just take it day by day.
As someone who has kids, what do you think what are some of the struggles that this generation, the younger generation of kids are going through, that are different from some of the struggles that you might have gone through or our parents might have gone through?
That's what, right? Like when I was kid, like we didn't had the social media, we didn't had
Oh
this much
yeah,
of exposure. And
right,
even like
right,
if my parents told me like to turn off the TV and just go study, it wasn't that big of a deal. Okay, we
right.
had this TV time. Okay, I would
Yeah,
watch TV for 1 hour, and I would
right.
switch off or like go and read. But these days it's very hard. It's completely impossible to control kids. Other
Yeah,
than trusting them and like communicating them, we can only tell them like what is good and what is
yeah,
bad. we
yeah.
we can give them knowledge to self regulate. If we start to
We have
regulate
to, I
them,
think. I think we have to like give them self-knowledge to be able
yeah,
to regulate.
that's what.
We like communication is more important than ever, I think.
Exactly. That's what, like most of my some of my friends, they tell like, oh, we're not going to give our kids phone. Okay, you're not giving the phone, but they have iPads, they have laptops.
Right.
That's
And they
what
have
they're
friends who
studying.
they have friends who have a phone. They
Yeah,
have friends who have all these devices.
yeah, exactly. If they want to
So
do something, they will do
yeah,
it. There
I
are
think
all these
sequestering
channels.
I think sequestering kids from these devices is not the answer. I think it's communication, and I
It's
think it's teaching
communication.
them like
Exactly. Trust them. Like
yeah,
tell them, and like trust in yourself. Like have trust in your parenting skills as well. Like explain, talk to them, be like a friend. Like we know what teenagers go through. We've been there. Just think. And that's what, like I tell, parenting doesn't start after having kids.
yeah,
It starts like my parenting coaching, it starts even with the you know like like even before conceiving. you know like let's say, like as a kid, everyone will go through some trauma, right? So
yeah,
if you don't come out of that issues, you're going to follow the exact same patterns with your kids too. Let's say like someone had very strict parents, like you would either do the same thing to your kids, or you
yeah,
would do like completely contrast. you know like, okay, my parents have been like so strict with me, so I'm going to
yeah,
be like fully free, like I give them like full freedom. It would be either
yeah,
that or either this. You are not going to be like in the middle ground saying like, okay, this kid is completely different, it has nothing
yeah,
to do with my parents. I
yeah,
have to. And even the society and like circumstances are completely different now. So your parenting style has to be based on what we are having today, the issues that we are facing today,
yeah,
right? So even that person, like the parents, the going to be parents, realizing their traumas and like getting in terms with the issues that they went through as a
yeah,
kid, or so even that is very important. They have to process their trauma. they have to come out of it, they have to realize, and they have to get come in terms with it. That is also very important. So
To
you're
to
not
face
bringing your
to
patterns
face
into
it.
your
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just face
Yeah.
it and like solve it before you bring that. That's what we call it, right? The generational trauma.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to break it. Like once you process it and once you come in terms with it, you're not going to carry forward with your kids. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the parenting, it doesn't just start like once you have kids or like once you're planning for kids. It starts with yourself. Like you have to heal from your childhood traumas or like any
Mhm.
issues that you had. So you're going to break that cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when parents come to you and they're asking you for advice on parenting, how do you start that conversation? Because I think it's such a sensitive topic, right? I mean, it's
It is like it's not like the thing doesn't just start with like what is your kid going through, what are they doing, how are they responding. It has to start with like along with the issues what they're facing right now. It has to be like how are you responding, what is that, like what is your parenting style, like
yeah,
some parents, they completely want to be involved in everything, they want to
right.
know everything. Even that doesn't work. You have to give them
Yeah, I
freedom,
think
you
I think
have
they're
to let
called
them break.
helicopter. They're called helicopter parents. Is I think
Yeah,
that's the word to describe them.
that's what, like they want to be in everything, but that's it's not
Mm,
going to work like that. And like kids, they're not going to be same all the time. Like as they're growing, the
mm,
things will change. Like that's how we are too, like that's how we were too, right? Like in when you are in like when you are a kid, you need your parents more. When you come into teenagers, like there are certain things you discuss and certain things you need to respect your kids privacy as well. Now, if they have certain things that are, but assure them saying like, okay, whatever it is, have a trust that if something comes up, if you need any help, we are there. you
yeah,
know as a parent, any question, like will be the right people to, it doesn't matter like what the question is, it could be anything. We've been there, we were once teenagers, so it could
right.
be anything. Just come and ask us
I
you know
worry about my kids. I worry about my future kids so much because I was such a bad kid. I was such a bad teenager. I was so bad. Um,
That's what it everyone goes through that. So don't forget how you were as a
yeah.
teenager.
Right.
Yeah.
It's to your point. It's like you acknowledge, like, how were you as a kid and some of the challenges and adversity that you went through. And so my wife and I talk about, raising confident kids. We want them to be confident where they can reach out to us, like where if they're in a sticky situation, like, hey, you could call us anytime and we'll be there. We could find like we may be a little upset, but we'll
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about it.
discuss about it. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
discuss and we'll see like if there is any better way. But still, like in that moment, we'll be like 100% with you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And man, it makes me think of this story one time about how I was, and I'm so ashamed of this. Like, even till this day, I haven't told my parents about it, because I made up this whole diabolical story about it. And I asked myself later on in life, like, why did I make up this story? And and what I realized is I made this story up as to why I was late getting back home was because I was afraid that they were going to punish me if I told them
The
I
truth.
was late because the bus broke. Not the bus broke down, but the that's just because the bus was late and there was traffic and I was going to New York and coming out of New York. So like instead of like just telling them being honest and straightforward, I made up this whole diabolical story. And in turn, like they got more upset with
Mm-hmm.
me about it. And it was just not great. I'm not proud of that. So um I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe I need to fess up to my mom.
That's what in that kind of situations, what I would suggest parents is like, yes, people, kids sometimes, like even we as a kid, like we lied, right? So
Yeah.
nowadays, like when they lie, like that's what, like sometimes I know my son is lying to me and I was like, oh, I know, that's okay, yeah, it's okay. And like after some time, you can't fool me, I know what happened, but I trust you. you know you
Yeah.
had to, you lied to me in that moment, but I trust you. Okay.
Yeah.
But next time, remember, just text me. Whatever is going on, just text me or like inform me. Okay, I'm going to be late. I'm here with my friends. It's okay. You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes, like we get carried away. Like as a teenagers, like kids get carried away. Like while hiding from parents, like we tend to do more mistakes. And
Yeah.
the days back then were completely different. Now it is completely different. Back then, like I think like most of the kids, or like even we as a kids, like we were able to get away with some of the things that we did. But nowadays it's not like that. There is so much of social media, and like there is like so much of scrutiny going on. It's very hard. You have
Yeah.
to, it's very easy to get trapped into the negative things,
Yeah.
you
Or,
know?
or or just get trapped in social media in general,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
that you think this lifestyle is very real and achievable and exist, and it doesn't. Like this is
Yeah.
not how people act and or look, or
Yeah.
they don't have this $50
Exactly.
million yacht behind them and they're in Barbados every weekend. It's just,
And
it
even
ain't
if you,
real.
yeah, even if that, like, you should also understand it just doesn't come like that. There are so many mortgages are like, they have their own issues. Everyone have their own issues. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you have to like, that's what, like letting kids, the trust is the only thing. You have to trust your kids, and
Yeah.
the mutual communication, and like making sure they trust you. That's the
Yeah.
only, I think, like, love and emotion are the only things that can control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am in this phase of life where my wife and I are starting to have like serious conversations about kids and, how what kind of parents do we want to be? Um, and one of my biggest fears is not being a responsible, or not responsible, but not being a quote unquote good dad. And I worry about that. And I remind myself, like, no, I'm going to be the best dad. And um, so what can I do that I could kind of get myself out of this loop of like
Mhm.
constantly doubting myself that I'm not going to be a good father?
So before going into that, like define what good dad means to you.
A good father means a father that is there for their kids, not just physically, but emotionally. A
Mm-hmm.
father that roots and cheers their kid on whatever their passion, their dreams are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, th those are, I think that's what
Those are
makes
the
a
two
good
main
father.
priorities, right?
Yeah,
Why
for
do
me,
you
yeah.
think, yeah, why do you think that you won't be able to do those? Like
I feel
what is,
because
Mhm.
I feel like my father wasn't that way when I was a kid. He wasn't. He was emotionally absent,
Mhm.
and physically unavailable. Uh, and I've forgave him for that because I understand that as an immigrant father,
Yeah,
life is hard, and
he
they
had his
had
own
to go through
challenges. Yeah,
they have to go through their own adversity, and they
yeah,
tried their best.
yeah.
And so I accept that, and acknowledge it, and forgive him for it.
So that's what, like, you had certain kind of childhood, and now you accept that. You know
Yeah,
what you don't want, and you know what you want. That
yeah,
mindfulness, like you want to make that effort. Like you didn't know why your parent, like why your dad wasn't available, and you still had that bitterness.
yeah,
You will not have the clarity of thought. That's what, like even before actually having kids, just coming in terms with your childhood, anything that you lacked in your childhood is very important. And you are in right path, right? Like, and you came in terms with that. You understand, like he had to do his thing, like only because of all that hard work and the time he had to put in. Like you are here, like you are able to come this far, right? So he did his
live a good
bit.
life. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you accept that. And now with this life standard, you want to be more emotionally and like physically be available, and
yeah,
you have that as a priority.
yeah.
So like just keeping in that in your mind, I'm sure you'll be a great dad, you know Yeah.
Yeah.
And like as we go forward, like as like every kid will have a different requirements. Like these are the things that you want it to be. So these are your like you as a dad, these are your requirements for you to be a good dad, right? These are not your kids' requirements. These are for your satisfaction, right? So you will be this, and going forward, as your kids requirements, you will also be adding those,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so like physically present, like you might say like, okay, I am a good sports person, so I wanted my dad to play more with me.
Yeah.
But going forward, your kid might not be interested in sports, he might be interested in something else, like let's say like he's more into art or like
Yeah.
drawing or like, just being physically present for their needs.
They might
Exactly.
not, like you said, they might not be in sports, but they
Yeah.
might be into, like science
Yeah.
or something. And if that's what they're into, then, like do that thing with them that
Yes.
they really enjoy. And you could just be present and be present with them,
Yeah.
and
So
not be
exactly,
distracted.
just even like understanding like your goal, like that is the goal of dad in you. Okay. So like what your kids requirement might be different. So like 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 mingling these two and like satisfying yourself and while serving the same thing for your kid matters. So
Yeah.
like yeah, if you're aware, like right now you have a plan, you know what you want, and be flexible with that. Keep
Yeah.
changing it as your kids requirements and needs,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah.
my friend gave me a book on parenting the other day. He
Hmm.
was like, I found this, and he's like, I know you and your wife, or you and Emily, are planning on talking about kids, so I thought of you guys, and he got us a book. I haven't looked at it. But it looks pretty cool, and it's like a kind of like a I did kind of glance at it, and it was like a basic guide to parenting, and
I
and seemed pretty simple. I guess those are some of the challenges of having a digital podcast. But here's that
Yeah.
book I was telling you about. It's called the
Hmm.
the simplest baby book in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. How do you like it?
So
You
I
started.
went through like the first like just the intro,
Mm-hmm.
and and the person who wrote it, Stephen, was giving credit to his sister for being um very tough, and you know being like the foundation of, because he saw her having to be a single mom and raising all these kids. And yeah, I haven't gone past this 2 pages. So
Uh-huh.
my point is, I haven't read it and I don't know much about it, but he basically dedicates it to his sister and says like, don't make parenting very complicated. It's not a complicated thing. We make it complicated,
Yes.
um, but it's more simple than that. But then I don't know. It's
No,
there's
like yeah, like I do suggest people to read books. It's always good to know, like it's knowledgeable, right? Like you are getting
uh,
a different person's perspective and you're understanding like, okay, these are all the things that there might be. But like with the personal experience, I tell you, like it's every kid is different.
yeah,
Whatever rules I followed for my older kid doesn't at all apply for my younger one. Like they're
yeah,
completely polar opposite.
yeah,
My older one, like he was very calm and like anything I say, like, okay, mommy, kind of. My
yeah.
younger one, like, is like, why should I do that? Like he questions. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't fit. Like, you know, oh, it's
There's no
raining
one
outside.
size fit all. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there
no
is
one
no
size
one
fit.
side. There is no one size. So it's good to read, but be flexible. Like parenting is all about flexibility. Like, like as a humans, like we have good days and bad days, right? Like just like that. Sometimes kids, they just go through the tantrum, like without even knowing, like they can't even express. So it's all being flexible, providing like meeting in that middle, like providing what they want at the same time, making sure like we are following our, ethics, like what we are teaching them, the values,
Yeah.
like give and take. Sometimes like we have to give in, saying like, okay, we're going to pamper you, like whatever you want. And at the same time, after that, okay, you did this. It's not good. I didn't like it, but because I love you so much, I gave in for that moment. But can you not do that again? Can we at least try not to do that again? So it's just
Now,
being flexible.
so the devil advocate side of me, the flip side of me goes, some discipline is good. So like I guess like I think about discipline. And I go like, how do you then discipline kids? Because uh, growing up with immigrant parents, like it was tough. Like it was their way or the highway. So,
Yeah.
and punishment was and ass whoopings were pretty normal. Like so, like
Yeah.
like how does and in a day where and I was even talking to the Uber driver about this the other day, and he was telling me about how he can't discipline his kids anymore because if you say something, he's like, well, they'll just say I'm going to call child services on you. Uh,
Yeah.
so I guess like how do you try to like balance that?
So, like, what I personally feel is like it's not one day thing, and like
Yeah,
once you're a parent, you're like your parent till the end, until
right,
you die,
right.
you're that parent, right? It's not.
There's no day off. Yeah,
There is no day off. Like, let's say, like, okay, they went to college. Parent doesn't stop there. They got married. It still doesn't stop there, right? Like, it's a continuous evolution process,
yeah.
and you cannot say like, okay, I did so far, like I did this, and I'm done. It's not like that. It's like working on that relationship. Kids are going to change. You are not the same as like how you were when you were 15, right? Like you changed, your tastes change, everything changes. And like as a parent, like we have to keep up with that. Sometimes
Can
like in yeah,
I can ask you
sure.
just very directly, do you believe in ass whoopings or not? So,
I it's like
that's what I'm trying
no,
to
I
get
don't
to.
physically, I don't believe in like physically hitting, but still like being strict, I totally
Yeah.
believe. Like, they
Okay.
should understand like what I am saying, what I am looking
Yeah.
for, like what my expectations are,
Yeah.
and like why I am expecting those kind of things. Like my older son, he's 13. He knows how to do laundry, like all the houseworks.
Whole chores. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, house chores. Like I tell him, like, it is not like these days everyone is surviving on their own. You should be able to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
so.
Because mom
And
and dad
I
aren't going to be there for
Yeah,
you all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be even expecting anyone to do those things for you after a certain age. Like you should know. And because we're giving you certain level of life, you should be able to maintain that, right? Like you do, like going forward you will be frustrated. Like let's say like now you have a clean bedroom with like nice neat sheets and everything. You're not going to be happy if you have dirty sheets or like dirty room and all that. No, sometimes you might not realize, but that is the stress, in the back of the head. You will have that stress. So you should be able to realize, okay, this is what my standard is. And you should be able to take care of that. You should know, okay, these are my requirements, and you should be able to maintain those by yourself without having anyone's help. So I put these requirements. Okay, this is why I'm teaching you. I'm not just asking you to do all these things because I need some help, because I'm not able to do it. That's not the thing. I'm trying to teach you, you know and like it's our bonding time too. We both are working together. It's our bonding time. You are learning, and going forward you should be doing all this, you know so yeah, in that kind of things I'm strict. I tell him like, this is what I'm expecting and this is what you should be doing. And even with the education, like knowing, like me and my husband, like we want to pursue on like what we want, like, right, like uh, I'm sure your my kids are going to be like that too. But there should be something to fall back to. So the basic education. Why is that basic education required? It's because that gives you the confidence.
Mhm.
I'm not just telling you to have this degree because all other kids are doing the same thing. No,
Right.
go pursue it, but have these basic skills. Like these are the basic skills. These are the basic education that you should have. So it gives you confidence. So everything should go with the logic. Everything you talk, give them the explanation. And, once they understand, and if they're saying, no, I don't want to do it, ask them the explanation again. Why are you
S-
not wanting
Yeah.
to do it?
I think I might have asked you this question already before, but I think because of the technical issues we've had, it might have gotten lost. Um, when you speak to parents about some of the parenting advice that you give them, um, what are some of the challenges the younger generation kids are facing that we were completely oblivious to, that we did not have to face? I think one you said is definitely social media,
Yeah,
but
that's the biggest problem.
that's the biggest. Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. And like not being interested in communicating with their parents. Like, just going
Mm,
and closing the doors and like staying in their room.
yeah.
Like,
How do
oh,
you
I have
break that
been.
cycle?
Yeah, it's like, and if you just, and we know, like, they're going to their own transformation and, like, their own hormonal changes. And so it should not be abrupt. So,
Hmm.
like, let's say, like, instead of like asking them to come to our terms, I tell parents, like, why can't you make small changes? It's not
Yeah.
going to be like an overnight thing. You cannot just like flip a switch and everything like everything changes overnight. It's not
Hmm.
going to happen like that. So just make a small change. Start interacting. Like one day they might not answer. Like start asking these open-ended questions. Like don't ask like how was your school. They'll say like yes, good. That's the
Yeah.
question, right? Like, and they just say like good. Did you eat? Yes. No, start trying to build the conversation. Like, oh, did you had fun with your friends?
Yeah.
What were your friends like did today? Like, did you play with your friends? Like, what did you guys do in the break time? Start, it's like a small, because the damage already happened, like they are in their
Hmm.
own cocoon, right? So to come out of it, it's like these small moves. Start building up the conversations and be patient. Everything is a phase. So keep doing doing your work and doing the thing that you can do. And
Hmm.
it takes time to build that trust. So that's what, like, even before you get to that situation, it should start from the beginning itself. Like, spending, if we spend more time on our phones, of course kids are going to spend more time on their
Oh yeah.
phones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
So
so funny. It's so funny
yeah.
because as I got to see like how I had a BlackBerry until I was 16, 17. So similar to you, like we didn't grow up with technology
Yeah.
um so readily available at least. And I remember like seeing now my parents on their phones and social media, they can't get off themselves. Like they're also on here and they love it. And I remember like, they would tell me to get off of it when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then going back to like to family like to connecting with kids, one thing I hear a lot is like it's also like building like a family behavior or a family routine where like once a week you get together and everybody like you go out for a nice dinner and one day one of the kids picks the restaurant or plans the
Mhm.
day or we get pizza on Friday or something like that. And I think that's one of those are some of the things I've heard, like those are some ways to connect and build
Yeah.
relationships with your kids, not as a parent but more so as a friend.
Yeah. It's like you being, we have to set an example. So whatever you want them to do, first as a parents we should be doing it.
Yeah.
Spending more time, like wanting to spend time. We cannot just stay in one room and tell them like, okay, turn off the phone and study. No,
Right.
like be there with them and try to understand what is going on with their subjects, or like where they are with their grades, or like build, like building the conversation.
Yeah.
It has to be gradual. And it shouldn't, if you are mindful, like if you start from the beginning, it shouldn't even get to that point like where the kids are just staying in their room and like closing. They should be like, what is my mom doing? Is she okay? Like I haven't seen that's how it used to be when we were kids, right? Like if someone didn't show up for a few minutes, like where is my mom? What happened to her? Like where is she? Like we would go and like look for them. So that's how it has to be mutual. Whatever you are
Hmm.
expecting from your kids, you should be doing that first. You should be that role model.
Yeah.
I am following this. They shouldn't be asking you a question saying like, you are on the phone, you are on social media all the time, you are watching
Yeah.
your YouTube videos all the time.
Yeah.
No, there should be a justification like, okay, I am doing, this is my work time, I'm working. Can you study? This is our exercise time. I'm going out for
Yeah.
exercise. Do you want to come out for a walk with me? Just
Yeah.
taking that kind of walks. First few times, there is going to be resistance. They're not going to be happy. It's going to be like, pull and push. But eventually, they will start enjoying. And we have to be patient till then.
I think they get picked on a lot, but I think the younger generation is so smart, and I think they're going to be extremely successful because they're so emotionally aware. They're so aware of their emotional surroundings. So when people talk about them being lazy and not being hard workers, I don't believe it. I think they're, uh, I just think they're like people are cherry picking. But um, do you think kids also like we have to be more transparent with kids and say like, hey, like mom and dad also make mistakes, and like we're not perfect, and here is are some of the mistakes that we've made.
Exactly. Like anything, that's what like I tell like as a teenager, I was like this. Okay. I know I did my thing. Okay. So if you're going to like if you're going through similar situation, tell me. Okay.
Yeah,
And know that we are there for you. So it's okay, right? Like it's like friends, like sharing your experiences. And even now as an adult, like we go through our lows and highs. And when you trust your kid, like after certain age, they're pretty much like adults, like especially with this knowledge. My older kid, like he understands everything. I share with him everything. Like there is no boundaries, like we talk about everything.
yeah,
So, it's like they should feel comfortable in talking certain things. Like, I bully him, he bully me. So
yeah,
there are no boundaries, but at the same time, like there will be that mutual respect, the trust,
yeah, of
he knows
course.
like mom trusts him. And,
Yeah,
I think that's the only way we can control them. Like if you want to control the trust, oh, my mom trusts me. I don't want to lose that trust,
right.
she have this much of trust on me, so I should not be doing something behind her back. So I think that's the only thing that emotionally can control kids these days. You cannot control them in any other way. Yeah,
Yeah.
just having that
That's
conversations.
so powerful. That's such a
Yeah,
powerful thing you're saying.
yeah, like that's how it worked. Like it worked for me. That's what I tell. Like my parents had like so much of trust in me, and like they thought like from the beginning, my dad would be like, "Oh, if you think you can do it, you will do it." Like,
Yeah, that's
that
amazing.
gave me that confidence. Anything like you put your mind to, you will do it. You will pass that exam. Don't worry. You can do that. You will read that. It might be a
Yeah,
small thing. Back then I didn't realize, but now when I look back, that small word my dad said, like you can do it, that gives me that power. So it
yeah,
worked for me. So just like the same patterns, I'm trying the
yeah,
same thing, and
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
does work. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask you, where can people find your work and find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, Mahitha Vaka. That's my name. I'm on TikTok, and I have my website like mahithavaka.com. If you just go
Okay.
to website, like yeah, there is my email address, so people can connect with me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will make sure to put all that information in the description. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a pleasure. Like I said, I've always wanted to meet a life coach. You're definitely an inspiration, I'm sure, to your kids, and I'm sure to a lot of people.
Thank you so much, Amir. Yeah, it's really nice conversation. Like we didn't talk at all before this, right? Like I was, but yeah, I'm telling you, like I saw your profile and like there is so much of positivity in that. I'm like, oh, nice. I'll respond to this guy. Yeah. So yeah, you're doing good work. Keep up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.